It all comes down to this. A surprise team too young to know any better, against a playoff-tested squad still searching for their October treasure. Each side putting an ace on the table. Two familiar foes, but only one winning hand, while the other falls short. It's the Cubs and the Pirates. Time to get wild.
Hello, welcome in. This is our Sportsnet Central Cubs playoff preview show. He is Todd Hollandsworth. I'm David Kaplan. Thank you to the great Bill Curtis, the Hall of Famer, for tracking our open. Holly, Cubs fans have been waiting 7 years for this. Their team back in the postseason. It does not get much better than this. 97 wins.
No, I mean, it's been an incredible ride this entire season. Optimism is actually peaking, and that's what I love about this season. Joe Maddon and this crew has kind of kept things, listen, just trust in us. Let us play the game. Don't everybody, beat us down or throw a whole lot of expectation on us. Just let us go about our business. And I think that's what Joe has kind of, he's made that play with his players and even with the media and with the fans. Let us do our thing. We'll get to where we need to get to. And guess what? We got a wild card game.
Joe Maddon would not divulge his starting lineup for tomorrow night's game, but during the team's workout, Tommy LaStella was taking grounders to third, Chris Bryant was in left, and Kyle Schwarber was in right. Maddon has done a great job all year keeping his team loose. He also keeps them guessing. Nobody would reveal anything. I interviewed Kyle Schwarber. He said, I don't know where I'm going to play. Nobody's tipping their hand.
Well, nobody may be tipping their hand right now, but you got Jake Arrieta on the mound. You got to score some runs, and I think you're going to pick, well, let's say it this way. Many guys will be involved in this game. The way it starts isn't always the way it finished, and that's exactly what I look at Joe. The way that he's walked us through September, the way he's gotten this team to bounce and to play. A lot of guys coming in the game in the 5th, 6th, 7th innings as this thing goes. Don't make such a big deal out of the starting lineup. It might be what we see at the beginning. It definitely is not going to be what we see at the end.
All right, Maddon taking the same exact approach into the postseason that he's had with his young club throughout the regular season.
The biggest thing is that you don't want to, for me, it's to not get your group to overthink it. It's not try to become a better team all of a sudden or try new things and become this great creative force. Just go out and play. Go out and play, man. You've been playing all year. We've won 97. They won 98. Neither one of us can believe we're in a wild card game.
All right, so Joe cannot believe that the Pirates win 98, Cubs win 97, and they're coming down to a one-game winner-take-all. You played. You won a World Series. Do you think this is fair, or, hey, man, it is what it is?
Well, I mean, I have two different perspectives on this. As a fan now, as an analyst, and somebody who watches from the sidelines, I'm a huge fan of the wild card because it creates momentum. It's exactly what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to create a Game 7 for the fans, to get them excited for what's about ready to unfold in front of us. But at the same time, as a player, there's no way that you would back this. This is created. It's one game, winner take all for two teams, and it really doesn't matter what their records are, but we don't do this anywhere other than spring training, and we all know those games don't count. So again, a one-game series or a one-game play-in just doesn't make a whole lot of sense for baseball players. I get it and I understand it, but for those of us who love to watch and love Game 7s, we got ourselves one.
All right, nobody in this studio other than you has played postseason baseball, so let's go back to the first thing Joe mentioned. As a player, did you approach postseason games differently?
Well, I looked at it like this. You have one of two avenues you're going to take. The first thing I'll say off the top is don't panic. You're either going to go to the left and you're going to embrace the brighter lights, the fans, I mean, everything else that goes along with it. I mean, this is exciting. It's like nothing you've ever seen before as a baseball player. On the other side of it, you can take it all in and you can say this is overwhelming. And you can get up there and you can change your game plan. You can expand your strike zone and you can let the moment eat you alive. There's one of two roads. I had a lot of fun with it. I guess that's the way that I looked at it, maybe borrowed time or a little extra. I think this group, this Cubs team, is fantastic about this. They look like, hey, listen, we battled and we played our game loosey-goosey all season long. We've had a lot of fun with Joe Maddon in the clubhouse. This is a great group. We're there. We're going to have fun doing it. But again, it comes back to that word, that first phrase I said, don't panic. And that's the thing. You're going to get tested at some point. If the Cubs have a nice, healthy run this year, there's going to become a panic moment. The question is, do you actually panic or do you embrace it?
It's okay to be nervous. Don't be scared.
Right, you got it.
All right, the Cubs and Pirates faced off 19 times during the regular season. The Cubs winning 11 of those games, 5 at home and 6 on the road. The most recent series was September 25 to 27 at Wrigley, when the Pirates took 2 of 3. So, Holly, there really shouldn't be too many surprises when these Cubs take the field tomorrow.
No, there won't be too many surprises. The question is, who's going to be the hero? We got a couple aces going in this wild card game. Maybe I should say it like this. What's the wild card? What is each team's wild card? Who's going to give you the moment? I mean, we've got a Cole, we've got an Arrieta. Neither one of these guys has given up a homer against the other team all year long. I mean, there's barely a few doubles in there. These guys are absolute aces. So the question is, what is going to decide this game? I've said things to you, Cap, like a key ground ball in the third inning with a runner on third and one out. Situational hitting, understanding it might just be the key to this ball game. A lot of people, most of them, the prognosticators, hey, 1-0, 2-1 ball game. You and I feel the same way. This is not going to have a whole lot of runs scored, so runs are going to be at a premium. It'll be interesting to see which team is willing to roll the dice a little bit, maybe put a few guys in motion and see if you can't create a run.
It helps that the Cubs have one of the best pitchers and the hottest guy in the game going for them tomorrow night, Jake Arrieta. Arrieta won 22 ball games this season, dominated the Pirates when the two teams met. 5 starts, 3-1 with a 0.75 ERA in 36 innings of work. Did not allow a home run and had a strikeout-to-walk ratio of nearly 7-1. What more can we say about Jake Arrieta?
Well, it's not much unless you want me to give you some more stats. How about his August and September? Why not? 10-0. .44. Hey, listen, I'm a firm believer in momentum, especially when it comes to the offense and when guys on the mound get into grooves. Jake Arrieta is absolutely in a groove right now, and I don't think anything gets him out of that groove. He has been in some really tight ball games. He's pitched a no-hitter. He's pitched under pressure, and he continues to be the same guy. Doesn't matter who the opposition is. So expect Jake to be Jake. You're going to see it tomorrow night, and it is going to be a lot of fun.
Of course, the pitcher the Pirates are starting is pretty darn good as well. Garrett Cole won 19 games, had an ERA of 2.60, former #1 pick in the draft. Facing the Cubs, Cole 2-1 with a 2.13 Ernie, and did not give up a long ball to Chicago. And he welcomes the chance to go up against Jake Arrieta.
When you're in these situations, you want to face the best. You want to get the best measure, best temperature of the other team, because you really want to earn these wins. You work so hard to put yourself in position to have these opportunities, and it doesn't feel any better than going up against the best.
This guy's an ace. Now, Jake's the hottest guy in the game, but Garrett Cole, pretty good.
Well, I mean, again, the numbers. He's got one of the best fastballs in all of baseball. He came out first pitch last start against the Cubs. What was it? September 18th, I think. Actually, would have been the 25th there at Wrigley Field. Yeah, first pitch was 98 miles an hour. Here, I'll give you a quick fact of this guy. He's thrown more fastballs at 96 miles an hour or above in the 6th inning or later, 160 plus of them, than anybody in all of baseball. This is the guy that brings the heat early, brings the heat late, and that's how he goes at it. We watched him do it his last start against the Chicago Cubs. He does not back down. I've said it all year long. The Chicago Cubs team is one of the best fastball hitting teams in all of baseball. What is he going to do tomorrow? I promise you're going to see the heat, and he's going to bring it. That's the kind of guy he is. That's the edge. That's that little ego that he pitches with. I don't care how good a fastball hitting team you are, I'm bringing the heat.
Exactly 1 year ago today, Rick Renteria was the Cubs manager. John Lester was coming off the playoff loss to the Royals. Chris Bryant, Addison Russell, and Kyle Schwarber were still minor league players. My, how things have changed. Holly and I will look back at a wild 12 months. We got the Cubs back in the playoffs with Sportsnet Central. Cubs playoff preview returns. But before we go to break, here's one of our favorite moments from this past season.
Deep left. That'll tie it. How far will it go? Off the board. Wow. 1-1.
Ice cream. Kitten. Cartoons. Please.
BMO Harris Mobile Cash. Just point and scan. Leave your card at home.
Money.
I think someone's been practicing.
BMO Harris Bank. We're here to help.
And here we go, folks.
It's your favorite hot dog bun, mustard, and overpriced watered-down beer.
Are you sure you want to eat all that? Because you already weigh more than your team's batting average.
Let's just toast to our anniversary. Oh, no, it's corked.
Let's just watch the game. I tweeted all of your friends to come over, but I guess no one showed up, just like at Mobile Phone Park.
That's okay. I invited one of your friends, too.
There's a long drive, and it's out of here.
Give a real anniversary gift this year. Escape to the Champagne Lodge in Willowbrook, just 25 minutes southwest of Chicago.
Are you afraid of getting out of debt, stressed out but afraid to do anything? Filing bankruptcy is like going to the dentist. Most people wait and stress out, but feel a lot better once they go. In bankruptcy, just like the dentist, can be painless. I'm attorney Peter Francis Geraci. Call us now or log on to infotapes.com. You won't know how good you'll feel being debt-free until you do.
1-800-401-4010.
The Chicago Cultural Mile Association invites you to ignite your imagination at the Halloween Gathering on October 24th. An all-day festival for all ages, children's costume procession, theater performances, kids workshops, a thriller flash mob, and a spectacle parade at night with over 100 creative groups. The Chicago Cultural Mile, conjuring Chicago's creative spirits at the Halloween Gathering on October 24th. Be astonished, be mesmerized, be there.
What's the key to business success? Stay on your toes and keep moving. Whether you're launching a new product or fighting off hackers, business has to be ready for anything. And your IT needs to support it. Forsyth Technology, together with leading partners like Cisco and Red Hat, and technology supported by Intel, will help you get ready and stay ready by leveraging the power of the cloud without compromising security and control, giving your business a lasting competitive advantage.
I mean, it's going to happen this year. That's what we're going to do. We're going to play. We're going to win the NL Central, and I'll quote me on that.
Welcome back to Sportsnet Central Cubs playoff preview along with Todd Hollandsworth. I'm David Kaplan. Anthony Rizzo wasn't too far off when he made that statement back at Cubs Caravan in January. Cubs' 97 wins would have been enough to win any division except the one they reside in, the NL Central. Holly, when you sit down and write the story of the 2015 Chicago Cubs, story starts last October, not in Chicago, but 1,100 miles away in Tampa, Florida. Andrew Friedman leaves the Rays to become the new GM of the Dodgers. That triggers an out clause in Joe Maddon's contract, allowing him to leave the club. Theo and Jed waste no time, and the skipper ends up in the Windy City.
Well, I mean, we've watched this from the beginning. Were we firm believers in spring training? I think we were pretty excited to have Joe Maddon. I mean, I was excited the day we got to meet him right there when he got through on that uniform and he offered everybody around. You remember that day?
I remember.
It lightened everybody up. But, I mean, that's the one thing with Joe. It's been so impressive to not only watch him work with this young team, to develop this young team, but he's taken control, the reins. I mean, listen, I've been here in Chicago. I've seen the media. I know how it works. I've watched some really good managers, some great managers, sometimes fall victim to that media. Listen, Joe's been out in front. He's been so transparent, but he has been one in control, calling the shots all along. This team looks to Joe Maddon for their direction, and he provides it. Whether you agree with it or not, as a player, he gives you what you need, and I'll tell you what, it's turned into a fantastic season.
All right, so the Cubs get their big-name manager. Then they go out and get a big-name starting pitcher, signing Jon Lester to a 7-year, $155 million deal. Lester won 11 games, but had a big impact on the team.
Well, John, no doubt, has had that impact this year. Now, I know it kind of gets paired with the Jake Arrieta story along with it, but Jon Lester is an ace. I'll say it once again. He's come in here. He has helped lead. I had a conversation with Jake just a couple weeks ago. He's telling me all the things that John did to help him become a better pitcher, a guy that pitches at the front end of a rotation. John is a big-game pitcher. He will be a big-game pitcher this season. That is the way I see it, the most significant piece of all of this. Along with the development of the younger players, getting Jon Lester meant we're for real. We know this is coming. Our time is upon us. And we saw John go through some struggles in early April, but again, showed that resiliency, that bulldog mentality, and has been absolutely awesome ever since.
Even though Chris Bryant crushed the ball throughout spring training, Cubs stuck to their plan not to call him up until April 17 so they could control his rights for another year. All Bryant did was lead all rookies in homers, RBIs, doubles, runs scored in Major League history. The only other rookie to do that, Ted Williams, back in 1939. You are looking at a runaway for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, that's right. I'm pretty excited for him. I was Rookie of the Year once, a long time ago.
There you go. You and Derek Jeter that year.
That's right. Chris Bryant, listen, the best thing that I can honestly tell you all outside of the numbers, the big home runs, the home run off the scoreboard, the game winners, everything that we've fallen in love with about this young man is that he's done it under the eye of a nation, not just the city of Chicago. You know, jersey sales, #1 jersey sale in all of baseball, Chris Bryant. There you go, right there. Everybody is buying and wants a piece of Chris Bryant right now. So not only as a player do you come up as a young player, look to establish yourself. And I tell you how hard it is in that first season to be a good ball player, to go through your struggles, to live through them, to get yourself to the other side and get yourself to the playoffs. You got everybody who wants a piece of your time. Everybody who's coming at you. Hey, can we get you on, Vegas radio? Can we get you on St. Louis TV? Everybody's putting in a request for his time, and he still has continued to push himself, to get better, to improve, and really has not fallen victim to all that attention.
And still been a great young man to deal with.
Absolutely. You don't realize, I have to say it again, I don't think fans just realize how difficult that is to pull off. Most fall victim to that. I honestly shied away from it when it started to come my way in my Rookie of the Year season because I didn't necessarily like all the attention. But again, it was something that I had to deal with. And I didn't like having to deal with it because it was in the way of baseball. He's done it all year.
We knew Bryant would be called up sooner rather than later, but then the club brought up Addison Russell. Just a few days later, Russell started at second base, but Madden's move of him over to short middle of the season or a bit after was a huge boost to the team's defense.
Oh. I'll tell you what, how about the morale? I'll say that, the pitching. The plays that he has made at shortstop, we finally got to see the true value of Addison Russell because, again, I think we were all, wavering. He had his moments, big hits here and there, certainly saw some special plays at second base. But when we got to get a good glimpse of him at shortstop, we realized that he was a Gold Glove caliber. He is going to win that award many times in the National League as a shortstop. And listen, it's all about the development. Made a slight swing adjustment at the All-Star break, a little taller in the box, a little bit more of a closed stance, allowed him to drive the ball better. This is a package, talking about Addison Russell and his game, that's only going to get better. I think next year's going to be even better than this year, as good as he was. But special player and tremendous athlete.
Bryant and Russell weren't the only prospects to come up. The Cubs brought Kyle Schwarber to the big league club June 16th, mainly to be an extra bat when the Cubs played interleague games at Cleveland and Minnesota. But after going back to Iowa, he rejoined the club in mid-July after an injury to Miguel Montero. But Joe Madden had to find a way to keep that bat in the lineup.
Oh, Babe got it done. That's right, he earned it. And that's the great story with so many of these young players in the Cubs. Even though they've come up with, super prospect status, Joe Madden has created an environment which was, if you want to stay up here, you got to play. And Kyle Schwarber absolutely did that. Let's think about it. He was playing college ball late last year. He was catching. He's playing left field. He's playing right field. He's doing everything that Joe asked him to do, all the while providing the heroics that he did at the plate. So, again, great to watch this young man grow up at in the big leagues.
Low point for the Cubs had to come at the end of July when they were swept at home by the last-place Phillies, including on a Saturday afternoon being no-hit by Cole Hamels. After the Sunday loss, Cubs were 5 games over 500 at 51-46, 2.5 behind the Giants for the second wild card spot. And then things changed.
Now, I call it the attention to detail game because that's exactly what it is. We talk about this in the big leagues all the time. Listen. Every team, whether they're the Philadelphia Phillies or the New York Mets or the Los Angeles Dodgers, the St. Louis Cardinals, deserves to be respected as a big league ball club, and they can beat you any given day. And what happened in that series was the Cubs didn't dot the I's and cross the T's, and they didn't pay attention to those details. And guess what? It was a wake-up call. Since then, they absolutely have. They took the Brewers seriously. They took everybody, the Reds, seriously, and they went out and played great baseball against some teams that were struggling. That's how you got to play it at the bigs.
Then the next night after the sweep was complete, the Cubs gave up 4 runs in the 9th inning to the Rockies and suddenly trailed 8-7. Then Chris Bryant hit a 2-run walk-off. The Cubs get a 9-8 victory. Wrigley was alive.
Chris Bryant provided so many of these heroic moments. Listen, 13 walk-off wins this year? I understand the argument that, listen, momentum will be defined by tomorrow's starting pitcher. Well, here's how I back it up. Listen, when you start doing this, you start believing that it's going to happen. You start expecting it to happen. There's a reason it happened 13 times at Wrigley Field this year, and I'll tell you what, Chris Bryant was the one behind it many times.
Then a week and a half later, the Giants come into Wrigley, leading the Cubs by a half a game for the second wild card spot. Cubs would pull off a 4-game sweep and never relinquish their hold on a playoff spot since. All right, Joe Madden managed that series like it was a postseason series. He was quick hooking pitchers. He was double switching. He was all over everything.
Well, let me say this from my seat. I won't say it from, the former player perspective. I'll say it like this. When he quick hooked Jason Hamill inside that series after 4 innings, I said, uh-oh, we're going playoff mode. That's what we're doing. That wasn't only for Jason Hamill, and I hate to single him out, but it's exactly how I see it, is that everybody was thrown on point right there. From that series forward, we're going at this to win every game like we are going to go to the playoffs, and we've got something to prove, and we're not going to fight until this thing's over with. That, to me, was a defining moment, no doubt about it. Like I said, it was that game against Jason Hamill where he quick hooked them after 4 innings. I think everybody's level of play stepped up that day.
Holly, individual high point in the season, August 30, Sunday night. Chavez Ravine, Jake Arrieta, no hits, the Los Angeles Dodgers. That was a magical thing to watch.
Yeah, it certainly was a magical thing to watch, but I don't think it was a surprise to any of us. It really wasn't. I think we go back to last year, the multiple times he went no hits, perfect games into the 5th, 6th innings. You know, we talked about him having to run the bases and coming back out tired. It really was the exclamation point to really this season, really what he had become all the way to that point. I really wasn't surprised at all. I watched the 2 veteran hitters there in that 9th inning, and Chase Utley and Jimmy Rollins. You know, they were guessing. I mean, when you see hitters guess the way that they were guessing, you know, they both took fastballs right down the middle of the plate. That just shows you a great deal of respect for what Jake Arrieta has accomplished. I mean, to the point where they're sitting on off-speed pitches and hoping that something else is being thrown late in the ball game. Jake has really turned the corner. He is in the zone. Let's hope he stays there.
All right, of course, there was the celebration at Wrigley Field on September 26. Cubs lost their afternoon contest to the Pirates. The Giants lost the night before, had clinched the playoff spot for the Cubs for the first time since 2008. And it was really cool. Some people said, well, you lost. How are you celebrating? Joe Madden bristled and said, hey, man, we're celebrating 6 months of baseball, and we're going to the postseason.
8 months of baseball. This starts in spring training. I think fans forget that. I know that the records start in April, but this goes all the way back to spring training. Every message that's delivered, respect 90, to calling up individuals, to young players, to guys stepping up, to playing, to John Lester, to Arrieta, to Kyle Hendricks. I mean, this goes on and on and on. You absolutely have to celebrate that way, the way that we saw them celebrate that day despite the loss. There's no other way around it. That was a day that was meant to represent, to kind of bring everybody together for what has been accomplished this year.
We have to take another time out on Sportsnet Central. Cubs playoff preview show. There have been lots of new faces to Clark and Addison over the past couple seasons, but one constant has been at first base. Anthony Rizzo continues to be a very strong presence in the Cubs lineup and on the field as he gets ready for his first playoff game. But before we go to break, here's another favorite moment from the past season.
High drive right field, way back. Oh, baby, we're tied. Kyle Schwarber with a moonshot. Deep to right, Bruce back on it. Gone! Schwarber's done it again.
Whoa, Marge. You're not Marge.
I'm sort of Marge. We both drive a stick, we both like saving money on car insurance, and we both feel integrity, such as that of healthcare in the America of the U.S. And therefore, yes, thank you.
No, please, stop!
Sorta you isn't you. Start with a quote from Esurance and get a set of discounts personalized to you, not someone sorta like you. Esurance, backed by Allstate. Click or call.
This year, beat the rush for winter tires and get big savings at Discount Tire. Buy now and get a $50 Visa prepaid card on any set of winter tires purchased with your Discount Tire credit card. Below 45 degrees, winter tires provide safe handling and superior traction. So beat the rush. You'll save time and money. Your safe winter journey starts here. Thank you. Discount Tire.
Quiet on the set. Pick 73. What? It's a... Saving big is no laughing matter. At the Bob Roman Auto Group, over 7,000 new and used cars online at BobRorman.com.
There's only one Bob Roman.
Still haven't tried FanDuel's one-week fantasy football leagues? Over 1 million fans have already won money. Choose a league. They start at $1. Pick your team. Done. Winners get paid the next day, and there's no season-long commitment. FanDuel pays out $75 million a week. Get off the sidelines and get some. Try FanDuel today. We'll match your first deposit up to $200. Love it or your money back, guaranteed. Go to FanDuel.com, enter promo code Yardage2. That's Yardage2.
Get a sneak peek at this week's game with Bears safety Antrel Roll all season long.
I'll give you an insider's look at the key plays from last week's matchup and how we plan on tackling the next game.
Tonight at 11 on Comcast Sportsnet.
The playoffs are here. Tomorrow night, get ready for the Wild Card playoff game with Cap and Holly on Cubs pregame live. Then, after the final out, flip back to CSN for live game reactions on Cubs postgame live. It's Wild Card Wednesday, starting tomorrow at 6 on CSN.
The Dodgers without any base hits. 2 down, bottom of the 9th. And the pitch. Swing and a miss, a no-hitter. Jake Arrieta has just pitched a no-hitter at Dodger Stadium.
Welcome back to Sportsnet Central Cubs playoff preview alongside Todd Hollandsworth. I'm David Kaplan. There have been so many heroes for the Cubs over the past 6 months, but one constant has been first baseman Anthony Rizzo. And even though he's playing in his first postseason game, he sounds like a veteran when he's talking about approach.
I mean, you just go out. If you're going to try harder in this game, you're, I think, an idiot. So you just got to go out and really try less because I feel like the adrenaline's going to take over. Things are going to happen during the game. They're going to make a run. We're going to make a run. We're going to make a push. So you just got to keep your composure and just be ready to play.
Well, here's a kid that has just gotten better and better, Holly. Your take on him?
Well, and wiser. That's exactly what I was, you heard him just talk about right there was the don't panic if you fall behind in a ball game. I mean, that's just the other thing. These guys, if they fall behind 1-0 early in this ball game, something crazy happens, don't panic. And he's like, there's no reason to overtry. That's what he's talking about right there. I think of Anthony and the leadership that he's provided in that clubhouse, on the field. And, the one thing that really stands out to me is what he's improved upon is he's shortened up those slumps. They happen, but they just don't happen nearly the same. He's going to be a perennial all-star. We know that about him. He is our captain. He is our leader. We're going to get it done. Anthony Rizzo is going to lead the way.
Right. Jake Arrieta against Garrett Cole. You got to think it's a low-scoring ball game.
Oh, do I? The question is, how low will you go? 1-0 or 2-1, I think, is where most of us are at. I'll probably go 2-1 on that one. But listen, with Jake on the mound, I expect a lot of great pitching going on.
All right. That's going to wrap it up for us. Don't forget to tune in at 6 o'clock tomorrow. Holly and I bring you an hour-long edition of Cubs Pregame Live. Take you out to PNC, the latest news, and after the final out, we'll be back with the postgame show. Have a wonderful evening. Cubs and the Pirates tee it up on Wednesday. See ya.
With the most iconic views of Chicago and steps from famous landmarks and nightlife of River North, the Holiday Inn Mart Plaza is at the center of downtown Chicago. Overlooking the Chicago River, there is no shortage of amenities and hospitality at our contemporary hotel. Our staff is anxious to provide you a memorable experience and lasting impression. For reservations, call toll-free 844-766-6582 or visit martplaza.com for special packages and summer rates.
Where did you find this place?
Online. Lowest cost, highest rated. I wish finding our new loan could be that easy.
Whoa. It can. Just go to LendingTree.com, shop free loan offers in minutes.
So what kind of loans?
He's kind of cute.
I know.
Well, you've got mortgage loans, personal loans, auto loans, even credit cards.
This place really does have everything.
Yes, it does.
At LendingTree, shop and compare loan offers from top lenders, and in just 5 minutes, you can save thousands. LendingTree, the place to shop.
How do you build a fantasy football dynasty? Throw the biggest game-breaking plays live on one channel. Add in-game analysis from in-studio experts, injury breakdowns from medical pros, and up-to-the-second stats all Sunday long. Then make it mobile, so owners stay connected straight to the source. Only NFL Sunday Ticket Max gives you the DirecTV Fantasy Zone channel. Turn your living room into fantasy football headquarters every Sunday afternoon this fall. Channel 704.
On average, an American household with at least one credit card struggles with over $15,000 in credit card debt. But right now, if you qualify for National Debt Relief's Debt Reset program, your debt balances and monthly payments will be reduced while you become debt-free in 24 to 48 months. Enroll now and there won't be any upfront costs or out-of-pocket expenses. To qualify for the Debt Reset program, you must have at least $10,000 or more in credit card debt, unsecured loan debt, collection debt, and or medical bills. You must also be past due or struggling to make minimum monthly payments or considering filing for bankruptcy. If this sounds like you, avoid the serious consequences of bankruptcy and take advantage of National Debt Relief's Debt Reset program today and become debt-free in 24 to 48 months. Call now to see if you qualify. A debt relief counselor is available to assist you 24 hours a day.
Call 800-465-1692. 800-465-1692.